What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have marked now 2 years owning our 2024 Audi RS3. This is a car that my wife really wanted. I thought it'd be cool as well. When we got married, we bought the S3, and at that time we ordered this RS3. It took 18 months to get this car, and here we are fast forwarding 2 years. So basically today's video, we're gonna give you an update on what it's been like owning this car for 2 years, how we're driving it, things we've done to it, and kind of plans with what this RS3 has in store for us in the future. Now, with that said, the last year of our lives have been completely different, having a new baby. So we now have a 4-month-old almost. So it's been a little different with this car. Needless to say, honestly, we haven't really driven it all that much in the last year. Given YouTube is my full-time job, every week I have a new press car, and we rack up around 10,000 miles a year on the press cars. I also drive my Gallardo as much as I possibly can. I've driven the Gallardo about double the mileage that I've driven this in the last year. So needless to say, this car does kind of sit around a lot given just the newest family situation, but I think going into next year, it's gonna be a lot more practical and a lot more usable. So with that said, this is basically our dedicated family car if we need to. So in the back here, we have the car seat, which this is a slim profile one. I'll actually have this linked on Amazon just because I've been very impressed with it. We bought 2 of them. I keep one in the front of the house, so that way I can put it into the press cars, and then this one is what I keep in the Audi. That way this car is always set up for the family if we don't have a press car. But this one fits good enough. These standard size car seats are too big for this little car. And as you can tell, this is as far back with the seat that I can go. So with that said, it is a little bit on the cramped side. At 5'11", sitting in here, needless to say, I'm not the most happy sitting like this. My knees are within an inch of touching the glove box. Recline is a little straight up for my taste, so I don't sit here. As you can tell, that's how I have my driver's seat, and it's a huge difference from this passenger side. My wife could sit here decently fine. She's a lot shorter than me. I'm 5'11", she's like 5'3", so she sits better here. But if she's driving, I'm sitting in the back. So now in the back seat with the driver's seat at her height, as you can tell, I have like 7 inches of knee room. The center console here does a good job with your cup holders, armrests. There's air vents in here, USB ports. So it's actually not a bad back seat. I will say my only complaint is if I put my back all the way to the back, my head just barely touches the ceiling. So I only have to slouch a little bit, and I can actually do like 30 minutes back here. So really long distance trips, that's gonna be what we find as, I would say, the biggest problem with this car at the current moment. But as you can tell with the car seat, it ends up working. It's just a little on the cramped side for right now. So with that said, most of the time when we go out and about as a family, we're taking one of the press cars. They're usually a crossover, an SUV of some sort, so it just makes a lot more sense. Plus, it makes sense to use those cars so I can then make better videos on them. So the RS3 really does kind of sit in the background. It's there if my wife needs to go out at some point when I'm out and about and take our daughter with her. So it's more of a just in case kind of car at the moment, just because current living situation with a new family. Now next year, as she's more out and about, as you know, our kid gets older, it's a little bit easier to go out and about and do things, which we're slowly starting to get there. We'll see how much more we use this. We will be using it more, but given it is on a little cramped side, I guess we will see if it is a long-term car or not, if we swap it for something bigger. Now, as far as modifications we've done to this car, we have it sitting on a set of the H&R lowering springs. We've also done the H&R wheel spacers to get these wheels nice and flush with the body. So it's made it look really, really good. You'll notice we don't have the front splitter anymore. Needless to say, that saw a curb, so that had to say goodbye. It was super low, but super cool looking. And then underneath the hood, we have the AWE carbon fiber air intake, which looks amazing on here. We've gone through 3 different intakes to test them out for our website. So we've checked out the MST one as well as an ECS tuning kit. And I think we had Armor Speed on here as well, actually. So this is the 4th intake we've tested. They're all great. The AWE one definitely is the craziest, coolest looking. In back, we also have the AWE exhaust along with the mid pipes from Unitronic. And then I also have a set of sway bar end links. Lastly, we have a carbon fiber shift surround, which is super cool. It matches the OEM carbon you get on the dash. So that's been a really cool interior change for the car. And if you own an Audi RS3, check out the links in the description. I'll have all these parts listed. It's really woken up the car a lot. It's a lot more fun to drive. It handles better, it looks better, and it sounds insane with mid-pipe and the active exhaust. So very, very happy with the mods on the car. And then lastly, had a full ceramic coating and paint correction done on it. So all the paintwork looks beautiful. So given we don't really drive it that much, currently 2 years later, we have 5,080 miles. So 5,000 miles in 2 years, 2,500 miles a year. The first year we owned it, I think we drove it 3,500 miles. And this year, 2025, we've driven it about 1,300 or so. So obviously these last 4 months, it has not been driven much, couple hundred miles, if that, primarily when I did the intercooler video, which that's another mod I forgot to mention. But in the 5,000 miles, the only issues we ever had pop up, given it doesn't get driven every single day, one day there was a check engine light. When I scanned it, everything popped up for low voltage. I cleared it, drove the car, never had it since. So if you are gonna let it sit for more than maybe 3 weeks or so at a time, make sure you're on a battery tender or drive it at least every other week, a good drive cycle. That's the only problem that's ever popped up. Maintenance, I do the oil changes myself. I've actually done 3 oil changes on it. I did one at 1,000 and then every year basically. So that's just how I do my cars. Every 5,000 miles or once a year, I'll change oil on all my cars, regardless of the mileage actually. It's like 70 bucks and it's one of the easiest cars to maintain. That is literally the only thing we've had to do. Obviously tires are in perfect shape. Brakes are still fine. There's been nothing at all. And looking at value. So we bought this for 65 grand, no stupid markups or anything. Nobody's actually doing that. If you are, then you really needed to shop around. Looking at the used market, especially for our mileage and for 24, it's still worth what we paid. So realistically, if I sold this today, we would get all our money back. We would just lose out on basically the insurance. So super cheap car to own currently, given they hold their value well. Had we spent half on a brand new basic Honda Civic, we probably would have lost $20,000 by now. So it just goes to show you, you can spend more money on a better car and actually spend less over time. So this car is a good asset to own versus a depreciating asset. So I've been happy with it overall. So now let's take it for a spin and talk about the driving and a little bit more like that. So let's start off with driving we've done with this in the last year. Like I said, it's really just sat in the background. Given YouTube is my full-time job, so my job is definitely different than your typical person. At the time we bought this, my wife had a normal full-time job and she worked from home. So she moved from Michigan down to here, kept her same job when we ended up getting married and all that good stuff, and basically just got to work from home. So it's been a really good perk. Now with a kid, she is a stay-at-home mom, so still at home a lot. So let's just say this car doesn't get driven much. So I hate saying that, but then again, you know, it's kind of that car we have in the background. Given the Lambo, she's never going to take by herself. She doesn't feel comfortable doing that. Zero interest in taking that alone. And then with the press cars, technically she's not allowed to drive them, given those are business vehicles that I'm allowed to drive. So this is her car, and this is the car that I kind of don't really drive much, just because if I'm gone all day filming, I'm either in my car or the press car. I don't want to take her car because then she doesn't have a car at home if she needs something, especially with a baby now. Obviously this car is set up to where she can perfectly comfortably drive this with the kid. It's all good. So it's basically been a car in the background the last year. Again, I've done a couple mods to it. That's about the most driving it's got. Basically me taking out, doing videos and things like that. I've used it from time to time on some short trips if I needed something. Maybe we had an electric car that was charging or something, and I was working on my car or something. So we've used it, but again, it's just been kind of in the background. Overall though, driving we've done mountain road trips with it. It is fun. It's also been a good daily around town car. The dual clutch transmission is a little rough, a little clunky in slow speeds, but we like that aspect. It gives this car more character than had we bought a M340i or something. So it has a lot of character to it. It's been a really good, just normal car to drive. What I like about this the most is how comfortable it is, especially comparing it to my car. If I drive mine daily, sometimes, again, I put more miles on the Gallardo than this. That's a rough car. When I hop into this in comfort mode, this seat is so comfortable. It is a great daily. It's so pleasant to drive. The cruise control works great. It's quiet, even with the mods. I mean, there's no drone, there's no roughness with the suspension. It is a really nice car to drive. So that's something that I've loved about the RS3. It is a nice Audi at the end of the day. I've been an Audi fan. My wife's been an Audi fan for a long time. She had an A3 years ago and sold that right around when we met. So I saw that car one time. But having an A3 to the S3 to the RS3, it's a good platform. Only drawback is the size. Now recently I filmed the Audi RS6. I compared that with my FL5 Type R. Sold the Civic, by the way, last week. But the RS6, That is about 100 grand on the used market for one that we would want to buy. I loved that car, and I told my wife when I got home, if the time comes when you want an RS6, we will get one. I know it's going to cost a fortune, and unfortunately it doesn't even fit in our garage, but when we want one of them, we are getting one because that is so cool. But given it doesn't fit in the garage, we will definitely wait until we build our next house to have more space before we get a car like that. So the RS3 really isn't going anywhere, given it fits in the garage perfectly fine. It's just been a good car. The only sacrifice is just a little on the cramp side when the three of us go out and about. But honestly, given we don't have to use it that much, you know, it's perfectly fine for a family car, given it's not like we're doing it every single day. So as far as the fun driving, I do every now and then take it out and rip on it. It surprises me, given I don't drive it that much, it surprises me with how fast and fun this car is. It has the all-wheel drive control. The 5-cylinder sounds insane, very similar with the Lamborghini's V10, so it has that tone. And while the steering still has just an interesting feel versus rear-wheel drive bias cars, you know, it's got wider front wheels, it's a wider front track. It is a rocket when you are ripping it through turns and pinning it up to redline. So if you want an exciting sedan and are able to sacrifice a little bit of that size, this by far is the most exciting sedan on the market. Oh my gosh, it is so fast and so precise. So to me, that's a big selling point of the RS3, is the fact that it really can do a lot. Man, the brakes are good. I mean, it is a lot of fun. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of what we've driven in the car. As far as long-term modifications, other things we're gonna do with the car, tuning is now available. There's a couple companies that have unlocked it. To be honest, I don't think I'm gonna tune the car, given we drive it so infrequently. It is so fast whenever I drive it. I just don't see spending thousands of dollars for tuning. Well, yes, it will make even more power. All that will be amazing. I don't drive it enough to even get to appreciate the power it has stock. It is fast enough stock. The car books. And plus, I do like having the warranty on it. Just, again, it's my wife's car. It's our family car. I want this car always reliable, perfect, no issues. So I really don't want to dive into tuning just because it still is a very new platform to be tuned. And I just don't want to do the risk. The risk for the reward just isn't there. When I had my Supras and the GTR, tuning was so readily available, I wasn't concerned. And those were my cars, my toys. You know, if something happens, but no big deal, I'll figure it out. Wife's car, I want it perfect 100% of the time. So I'm not going to be tuning this car at all. I like it the way it is. She likes it the way it is. It's plenty fast enough. So with that said, long term, how long are we going to own this car? So as we get into next year, we are going to be seeing the new house, see if we can build that. If some of you have followed along with some of the content, when I sold my Supra for the Type R, I did that to eliminate that car loan to get us one step closer to building our new house. We bought property at the time, and at this point, we have no loans on our cars. We're debt-free, aside from our current house's mortgage, obviously. But next year, as we get into there, we're gonna see what it actually looks like to build, what it's gonna cost, what we're approved for, all that kind of financial stuff, and see where we're at. Once we get into the new house, hopefully within the next 1 to 2 years, we can build. Once we get there, I think that's when we'll probably be ready to say goodbye to the RS3 and probably go for an RS6 or maybe an SQ8, something that is a bit more roomy, a little bit bigger. And by then we'll have had this for probably 5 years or so, which seems like that's as long as either of us own cars. She had her Lexus for 5 years, I had the GTR for 5 years, and that's the longest we've ever owned cars, is 5 years. So that's kind of the plan. She loves Audis. I enjoy Audis a lot. Not the biggest fan of the newest Audis, so we want to stick with kind of this generation. There's no auto start stop. This car is simple. There's no hybrid stuff. So we want that. So one of the V8 cars, I think, will be the next one. I'd love the RS6, but again, they're 100 grand for a good used one. SQ8s are like 70, which won't be much more than what this thing will sell for when the time comes. So we'll see. Just depends on what we want. Either way, I love the RS6. That's what she wants. We're going to get that one. But that's kind of it for the RS3. It's been just a good overall car. Hopefully in the next year we will start driving it a lot more, because like I said, it hasn't been getting driven much lately. It's just kind of there in the background if needed. As we do use it more, if we stop depending on press cars for the family driving, you know, maybe sooner we would swap it for maybe an RS5 Sportback. Would probably be an equivalent car, same price point, but a little bigger, or maybe an SQ5. So that's kind of the only other cars we would consider swapping this for, only if we really needed to. At the moment, given we don't drive it that much for the family, it works good enough. You know, we're gonna keep it because my wife likes it a lot. So that is it, Audi RS3 2-year update. It's a cool little car for sure. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.